A slowdown at America's ports has caused delays in consumers getting packages and other deliveries across the country. Looking ahead to the end of the year, a lot of people are now starting to wonder if consumers should be worried of an impact on the holiday shopping season, whether or not you can actually get all those gifts that you're planning on buying. Well, our next guest has one piece of advice. Start now. Joining us is Gene Seroka. He is the executive director of the Port of Los Angeles, so he knows of what he speaks on these things. Gene, it's great to see you. Thank you for being here today.
Morning, Becky. Good to see you, too.
So I read a report earlier this week that said there were 56 cargo ships that were stuck out at anchor waiting to get into the Los Angeles port, that the average waiting time is now 8.5 days. What the heck's going on?
You've got the convergence of this pandemic-induced buying surge that we've been witnessing for over a year now with our traditional peak season for year-end holidays. All the cargo is rushing to market as quickly as it can be moved through. Productivity at the port is up 50% for each vessel call, and that also makes for loading and offloading of cargo at 11,000 plus container units, the best in the business today. But we've got many nodes in the supply chain that have bottlenecks, and we've got to start untangling them to make sure the products get to market.
So I was a little surprised on this. I was anticipating that it was going to be, oh, these are late shipments. We had this backlog of things. But this is really just that Americans are buying so many things because we've got so much extra money laying around that this is more stuff than ever has been coming into the ports before.
That's correct. We hit 1 million container units back in May. Fiscal year ended with nearly 11, both records for a Western Hemisphere port. But what we also saw were the savvy logisticians in the retail business pulling their orders forward for the holiday season. So as we got down to only about 8 ships at anchor back in the third week of June, immediately we pivoted, and probably 6 weeks early, into that peak season. The retailers are looking at trying to level set their supply chain timelines, lead times, and with that, bringing cargo in earlier for the all-important shopping season.
So that gives me some hope that there will be things on store shelves. The retailers know this, and they brought their stuff in early. But what can you tell us just in terms of what we should expect?
Well, again, as I mentioned in our press conference yesterday, for all of us American consumers, shop a little bit early, go online, take a look at the products, and plan a little bit more so than we normally do as we're getting ready for Christmas and the other holidays. What we also need to do here in the logistics and transportation arena is start backwards. We need to make sure that last mile distribution is taking place as quickly as it can to fill up the store shelves and make sure that the fulfillment centers are ready to ship out our goods that we order online. Those rail hubs need to be emptied out quickly and equipment returned, and it works its way all the way back to the ports. Factory output in Asia is at record highs, but we're also seeing a backlog of orders. So everybody is chipping away right now to try to make sure those goods hit the market at the right time.
If your productivity is already up 50%, does that mean basically there's nothing you can do to unload this stuff any faster?
We're working around the clock. And with the help of newly appointed port envoy, John Pacari, we're trying to squeeze every hour of productivity from this port complex. We've found through our research and using our own data with the Port Optimizer that there are 30% of truck appointments at nighttime that go unused. So we're trying to rally with the truck community and the retailers generally to make sure that we take advantage of that latent capacity. We're also going to be making a couple of announcements later this week to expand the work that we're doing in concert with retailers' commitments on how many containers and shipments they can move out every shift, every day. It's a little back and forth with partnership that I think is long overdue.
Gene, earlier in the pandemic, I think this is true, correct me if I'm wrong, some of the issues that you guys were facing were things like workers not being there because of COVID and not being able to find enough other workers to come in, because these are skilled jobs. Is that still the case, or is that not even an issue anymore? This is just, it's an overwhelming load of stuff you're trying to get through.
Well, it is an overwhelming load, but I will say that our ILWU dock workers have been averaging 6 days a week on the job since the pandemic began. There was a spike in COVID back in January. We got testing rolled out and then vaccinations at our World Cruise Center beginning in February. Everybody that's able to work is on the job, but we've got a trucker community and a warehouse worker base that still needs some additional employees. Those folks are not represented. We're working collectively with private sector business to get as many people on the job as we can.
I'm guessing you're doing things like a press conference and talking to us about these things because there's some pretty frayed relations at points. Probably people mad that they aren't getting their stuff sooner, not understanding what's happening. Is that the case? Are there, I mean, you think about the air rage things we hear all the time with people flying in the air. Is there more frustration that you're having to deal with every day, too, just because of all of this?
I've been in this business for over 30 years, and I've prided myself on making sure we have strong relationships across the supply chain. It's never been more evident today with everyone pulling in the same direction. Yes, people are frustrated they can't get their cargo fast enough. Visibility is key. Understanding where the cargo is, what node needs to be moved next, and how to use exception management tools are all of prime importance right now. With COVID-19, we've eliminated all travel. So working over these video mediums, coming on your show, holding press conferences and meetings, webinars with our customer base has been absolute necessity to further the information, make sure we're hearing where we need to focus our efforts, and giving out that good update that our customers need.
Have you...
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.